The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, kingdomstrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from kingdomstrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact kingdomstrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's kingdomstrollers.com.
Howdy, partners. Did you hear that the folks over at Expedition Roasters have hit gold? Gold Rush Churro flavor, that is, in Prospector's Roast. It's Expedition Roasters' latest specialty coffee release. This creation arose when the Prospector's churros were left on the mountain blasting site. Next thing you know, there's a big thunder blast, and it's raining churro dust into the campfire coffee. Eureka! A churro snack and a coffee roast. Now brew up a cup and hold on, because this here's the wildest coffee in the wilderness. And don't forget to check out their huge selection of pop culture-themed coffees, teas, and gear. Behind the Ears podcast listeners, be sure to use code EARS20 for 20% off your first order with us. That's EARS20 at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place.
Coming to you live from our studios on the East Coast and in the Midwest, it's the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris, and you are now watching us live. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. I almost messed that one up. Right here on Facebook and or YouTube, and obviously you can catch all of our podcasts that are done here, but when we put them in the fancy podcast terms, they go over to anywhere you can listen to a podcast. So with that being said, it's weird. My week just started for work because everybody, majority of the people, were able to have off yesterday for Memorial Day. So to me, today feels like Monday, but in reality, it's Tuesday. So that's a good thing. Mr. Chris, how are you?
I hate the fact that it was actually Tuesday, not Monday.
I know. I wasn't ready for tonight.
No, I wasn't ready. I wasn't. It was like the Monday of Tuesdays.
Yep.
I'm already a day behind everything because, well, it's Tuesday and not Monday.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's how it goes. I mean, it is just one of those things. I hope that when people listen to this, they're like, I don't know what they're talking about. It's still Tuesday. Yes,
it might be the wrong week Tuesday.
Possibly. It is, possibly, but that's okay. I am doing fine. I will tell you this. I actually it's now starting to get that kind of weather where the windows are open a little bit. So if you happen to hear a car drive by, it's not because I'm in my car. It's just because of how it goes. You have any windows in your new studio there?
Mm-hmm. I have one actually pretty large window to my right. The problem is we're in the middle of a tornado watch right now.
Oh, so are we.
I literally just brought the pup outside to go to the bathroom, and these ginormous bolts, it was like daytime, went off, and thunder went crazy. And he does not like the vacuum, but he looked at me for the thunder and was like, didn't phase me. I was like, well, it phased me.
See, for us, everybody's like, oh no, tornado warning. For us, we're like, hey, where's the lawn chairs, man? We want to go outside and watch this thing. And we actually had some tornadoes about probably within 5 miles of where I live.
Tornado. This is a new thing for me. We don't get tornadoes. It's wild. We've had like 3 in the past year, and I'm like, wait, what do we do? Like, I literally had to Google because I was like, I don't know where to go during a tornado. And people might laugh, but there's 2 things in my life I've never witnessed that I've had to witness on a daily, like on a yearly basis: tornadoes and earthquakes. I've lived through one little earthquake, and it was the coolest thing of my life. Now, granted, because it was very small, and you weren't anticipating it.
I went up to California. You feel earthquakes all the time. There was an earthquake here. It actually felt like someone was taking the bed and shaking it.
Oh, no, this was not that bad.
It was kind of like, I'm like, what the heck was that? I woke up, I went into my office, and all of a sudden someone messaged me from work. This is like at 5 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, Chris, are you there? I'm like, yeah. Why? Did you feel that? I like an earthquake? He's like, yeah. And this guy was in St. Louis. He felt it too. Yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about natural weather phenomena. We're here to talk about stuff regarding some Disney things. And we're going to try something a little bit different, a little bit ad hoc, but I want to say a little bit funny, because speaking along the lines of something that's, happier than a tornado in a trailer park. That's right. I stole a line from the movie Cars, so it keeps it Disney related. And what really kind of gets me is, you ever notice that anytime we try to put out some really good, solid content of, good, solid information, good, solid opinions about something, it tends to get squashed. But anytime anybody puts something out there that starts off with rumor before it just like goes through every single Disney site like it was like gasoline on fire. You ever notice that?
All right, so I'm going to be completely honest, and this is not a bit for the show. Do you have an example?
I do have an example.
Okay.
And, so
because I'm a little perplexed on where this is going, so that's why I'm like,
Unfortunately, we really haven't had a chance to chat about this, but I saw this and I'm like, oh my gosh. It's the latest rumor. And I gotta put up there rumor alert, but it's the whole latest rumor about Disney wanting to tear down like the land and the living seas sometime in like
I did
2025, 2026, something like that.
That was a big thing on Instagram today, like big close signs everywhere, and I was like, I didn't have the time to read it, but
it was all done through rumor. Now, granted, I say it like that. In such a way where it's kind of like, listen, to try to predict what's going to happen a few years from now, and everybody's saying, oh, it's because of plans that were filed and this, that, and the other. It's like everybody's losing their mind over something that's labeled as a rumor. But anytime anybody tries to put out good, solid, confirmed, good pieces of information, it never gets shared. It never gets, brought out to people to try to have some education brought out there. And I'm not saying this is a vent. I'm saying this is a very logical observation. As, someone who loves Disney, as someone who loves to talk about Disney, as a Disney podcaster, as a Disney content creator. And I like to think that some of our fellow content creators, some of our fellow podcasters probably feel the same way at times, because it's almost like you get more attention if for some reason you label something with rumor, and I am not ripping on those sites. Okay. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm just not going to, but at the same time, we may talk about rumors. We may talk about things like that. We always label it such. We don't necessarily try to perpetuate the rumors or whatever. We always try to comment on what if. Now, I don't even know if I want to go down the what if path, but we do know a few things. And whether or not you subscribe to some of this is beyond me. but we know that basically Future World for Epcot is going to go under a pretty big amount of change over the next few years, and it's already started. That's right. The tombstones, as some people calls them, right before, like basically between the entrance and if I almost said Facebook Earth. Oh my gosh, where was my mind? Between the entrance and Spaceship Earth, that's all going by the wayside. We pretty much know that Club Cool is going away. We pretty much know that like some of the Invention stuff is going away. We know that the new restaurant's coming in. All these things are pretty much undisputed. They know what, it's going to happen. And over the next few years, we're going to see some massive changes in Future World. Now, and I think, you know what, as much as I love it, the fact of the matter is use that space well. Bring back Inventions, bring back some of the good stuff that Epcot was all about, but in a new, interesting, reimagined way. That's my 2 cents. I've said that from the very beginning. But the fact of the matter is, well, what do you mean? What give that?
They could do a lot more with that area.
Oh, I'm sure they could do a lot.
I don't want to bring back like Body Wars and Invention.
No. I'm not saying bring back.
No, I know, but people. Not saying you, but people are like, "Oh, I want the nostalgia. It's a great time. Bring it back." I mean,
I'm not even saying bringing it back for nostalgia purposes. I'm saying reimagine it totally. In the sense of, there used to be a time where Inventions. I'll be honest, that was my son's favorite thing, is to go through both Inventions things because it was hands-on, it was interactive, and you learned different things as you were having fun. And so
they tend to break, though. I mean, look at Spaceship Earth. Those things are absolutely terrible. They've taken the games out of the queue inside of Space Mountain.
Oh, Space Mountain. Well, they only turn them on once in a while.
They're gone now.
Are they now?
The buttons have been removed.
I always go down the FastPass side, so I don't really, never really got a chance to do that. And I know that there are different things that are now well, you know why? You get an idea. They want people to use the Disney Play app.
Yeah.
They want to use that for people to be able to actually, they want people to actually use their phone to actually use some Disney related games that are related to the parks, which isn't a half bad idea. But at the same time,
people on their phones enough. I mean, I don't know.
I don't disagree with you at all with that, because I've said this before. I'll say it again. I would rather not have my phone on me. I really, really wouldn't. So now the thing is that here's the catch. This is exactly why, by the way, Jerry, it's not towards you. Jerry's making the comment, I thought Soarin' was a popular ride. Why would they get rid of the land? Sorry, I'm late to the conversation. We're not even really going down the speculation path. And we're not saying that anything like Soarin' is going to actually get removed.
That's silly if anybody thinks that one. That is silly.
But, they also like saying the Seas. Think about it. Seas is much more than just Nemo. It's more than just Turtle Talk. I mean, that's a big old working aquarium, like huge. Like it goes way further back than I think anybody could imagine. Unless
you could repurpose that.
You could repurpose it, but it's such a good piece of infotainment.
Yeah. I mean, now isn't Coral Reef attached to that building?
Yes.
Oh, and close the whole thing down. That's it. Cones up, caution tape out. Biohazard.
Now, I thought you said a long time ago that you were going to give. I wasn't going to go down a path. That you were going to try Coral Reef again after they finally, redid themselves and so on. I thought you said you were going to give them another shot.
Yeah, I mean, but if they closed down before then, I wouldn't be crying the blues either. But the Turtle Talk with Crush, right? And Nemo's in there. Nemo, I mean, I don't think it's that good of a ride. I do like Turtle Talk with Crush, though.
I do.
I think that's cute.
But the whole thing is I don't think they're. Here's my take. I'm sure there's going to be some changes, but everybody just seems to be going into a huge panic mode over what's been going on. Oh, wait a second. Brian's here. He says, I'm here. You may start over. Oh, well, Brian. Well, okay, here we go. I'm just kidding.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast.
The Behind the Ears Podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Just kidding. No, it's. I just honestly think. I just really honestly think that there's obviously probably some things that are going to be going on with it. Is there going to be a major restructuring? There could very well be, but the fact of the matter is, Soren's not going anywhere. Let's face it, Soren's not going anywhere, and I'd be really surprised if Living with the Land's going anywhere either.
I see. Ryan brings up an interesting question.
What's that?
He goes, "Hey everyone, just signed on. Quick question: does anyone know or have heard when the restaurant on top of the Riviera will be taking reservations? I've heard it's going to be opening prior to the hotel. I don't see how they can open that prior to the hotel, though.
I actually be really surprised if they open up Riviera before they're. I'll be surprised if they open up Riviera on time.
Because you think about it, unless they turn those elevators into express elevators, and they don't give the option of hitting any floor, you can't have people going on random floors. You can't allow that. Unless maybe it's a separate elevator to the restaurant compared to the rooms, maybe. Or simply, what happens if you have lunch or an early dinner? You can't have construction going on while you're working. People would hate that.
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be able to be done. I haven't heard anything about when it's going to actually open up. We do know that it's going to open up towards the end of the year. Everything is supposed to be opened up. But, the fact of the matter is when you and I were there in March, we drove by there a couple times. And I'll be honest, I was like, really? Place is not really all that done from the outside, at least. So let's hope that they're able to make it by the end of the year. I bet you they will. I bet you they will. Because you know what? Looks can be very deceiving.
And also, they might have part of their crew split up in Star Wars right now, which is set to open in the summer. Well, no, when? Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Actually, that timeline doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
this will open in July, right?
What?
The new hotel?
No, end of the year.
Oh, I thought it was July.
See, I thought it was the latter part of the year.
But then, you know where I'm getting July from?
Mm.
Brandon has reservations for July.
Oh, but you know what? I didn't think it was going to open until the latter part of the year, like third quarter, fourth quarter of the year. I guess technically someone's going to say, oh, but July is the third quarter of the year. Okay, fine. I said corrected.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to make that happen, but because technically when you think about it, you build up, down. You start at the top, you start from the bottom, you work your way up, you build the frame, and then obviously you work your way from the top down. So technically, but the thing is, the lobby would have to be done. I think there's just too much that would need to be done. And you're talking about now, Brandon, you're saying you have reservations for them this July. That seems, I don't know. We'd have to talk to Brian and or Chris, see if anybody can get over there to kind of get a better bird's eye view of what's going on. Because I just don't see how that's going to do it.
Yeah, so we'll certainly leave it like that. Brandon basically is saying he had to cancel his trip. He had it set for July. Maybe I haven't been paying attention to Riviera opening because I don't really have an intention to staying there anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that in a negative manner. It's purely observational. So
Brandon's saying he had a reservation. So if they're giving out reservations, they know more than we do. Obviously,
we yield to good information.
Yeah, if they're giving out reservations, they know something that we don't know.
Brian's saying October 16th was opening. Disney announced the opening
That
date.
could be for the actual hotel, though.
Right. So there you go.
See, now Greg's saying, or George, sorry, we were just there. Looks like a long way to go.
Yeah, and that's kind of what kind of goes along with what I was saying. So, yeah, and Brian's also, well, there's so many comments. I can't click on the right one at the right time. Brian's saying there, DVC has a preview room. Yeah, it's at Saratoga though. So it's one of those things.
Really? I'd like to see that.
Yeah. And we almost went there during the last time. It's just we just didn't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just have to see that. And but yeah, it's mainly going to be, I always thought it was December. Brian just confirmed it's December. It's going to most likely be December, if not just a wee bit earlier. So yeah, we'll have to see. No, Kevin, there is not an opening day yet slated for the space restaurant between Mission Space and Test Track yet. I know everybody's looking forward to that, and there's a lot of people that are looking forward to that. So we'll have to. Oh, so here's the other thing: are people confusing the tower at Coronado with Riviera? I think people are confusing the tower at Coronado with Riviera because that really was almost done. In fact, the exterior facade of it really looked great when I saw it in March, because I did stay at Coronado for one night, and that really did really good. So let's see here. I'm going to throw this up here really quick because George is also asking the gondolas are so from the actual resort rooms have to take the bus to the gondolas. You don't have to take a bus to the gondolas. It's just going to be another stop at the hotels from which they serve. So you're not going to have to take a bus to go to a gondola to go somewhere else. So that's a good thing.
Hey, you're a car junkie. You're
am.
a shade tree mechanic.
I am.
Did you see about the bus that caught on fire?
I did.
Cast member bus. Everybody was safe, but wild, man. How come we don't hear more of this happening? Because you got to think those buses go through a rigor. I'm sure they're rigorously checked. Mechanics probably triple check them before they go on the road. But I mean, that's a lot of driving they do on them.
While obviously I'm not a diesel mechanic or anything like that. Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, it's not the first time I've seen that sort of thing, but it's been far and few between. And with the thousands upon thousands of miles they put on those things a week, you know what? Stuff happens. Just like anything could happen to any vehicle out there. The same thing happened when you're doing it. And I can almost guarantee you it's not because of lack of maintenance. It's most likely not because of, negligence. Stuff happens, especially if it's an older vehicle of any sort, any vintage. So, and like Brian said, it's a public bus, but it's there for Disney transportation, or Disney cast members are using it as their transportation. So, but everybody started panicking over it because someone, when they posted an article or wrote an article about it, they posted a picture of a Disney bus. It wasn't a Disney bus. And I thought that was a little bit misleading, to be honest with you. And I'm sure it was not done on purpose, in a sense of trying to mislead or anything. I truly believe that. But it was not a Disney bus like you would use to go from a resort to a park. So, but yeah, it's just like this comment. I can tell you this isn't the first cast member bus to catch on fire. You're absolutely right. The buses do not run on liquid propane. They run on biodiesel. At least the ones for Disney do. They run on R50 biodiesel, which is actually diesel with 50% mix of basically a biodiesel that is created from waste food sources. Like
oil.
No, not even oil. Like beef tallow. You're saying what's beef tallow? Like, the white meat or the white fat on a thing. That's actually rendered into a liquid, and it's actually turned into a fuel. So yeah, it's just it's one of those things. But no, that's not on propane or liquid any kind of liquid petroleum gas.
Watch this transition. So we were talking about food in a weird way that was turned into gas. Well, what do you use for that is a fork or a spoon, or how about a spork? And you might be saying, well, what is he talking about? Well, Forky, the new character from Toy Story 4, will be appearing at Typhoon Lagoon H2O Glow Nights. Now, I've never been a big fan of these H2O Glow Nights from what I've seen, but this one intrigues me. So the H2O Glow Nights is being held Thursdays and Saturday evenings at Disney's Typhoon Lagoon, beginning May 30th. So depending on when you listen to this, it's either in 2 days or it might have passed. And it will continue through August 24th. The water park will be transformed into a Toy Story themed beach party, accompanied by characters, music, and unique lighting effects. Those attending this event will be with some of the first guests who have had the opportunity to see Forky from the upcoming Toy Story 4 film, who will be making an appearance. Here's my thing. How are you making that fork move? Because I swear, if it's just a dude in a costume that looks like a fork, you've done yourself an injustice. I think they should actually have the fork, but put it on wheels like they do with the trash can robots at Tomorrowland. Just don't put it in the water.
Oh my gosh. Well, Brian is actually blogging it tomorrow for the preview tomorrow.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's kind of cool. Look forward to hearing what he has to say
Tomorrow.
about it.
What do they have, a preview? Oh, the preview. I didn't read the second part of that sentence. So say it doesn't open until the 30th. Oh man.
It's kind of funny that you say that about Forky. I mean, the funny part is that I saw someone do kind of a test of a cosplay of Forky.
That's interesting.
It was actually really cool looking for it was kind of a concept art, so to speak. So I thought that's actually not a bad idea to do it, but it's just really kind of fun.
I'm kind of losing my mind. I just was going through some of the stuff that they offer at this thing. This is wild. So for anybody who wants to go, the event's usually held from 8 to 11 p.m. Tickets cost $59 per person plus tax for adults and $54 for children ages 3 to 9. So same price. Oh, well, $5 less. When purchased in advance. On days of the event, the ticket price will be $69 per person for adults and $64 for children. So let's dive into some of the tasty things they have going on here. I'm not going to read you the whole.
You didn't eat dinner yet again, did you?
I did. This is actually for a party like this. I don't know the portion size. I don't know if it's going to be good, but at least they did a very good job of posting the pictures properly. And I'll tell you what, there's some really cool things here. So let's just touch on just the food first. Ready for this? This is going to be over in the Leaning Palm section. You can get a Western beef brisket, which is a beef brisket, fingerling potatoes, baby carrots topped with pico de gallo and microgreens. That sounds good.
That actually does sound good. That sounds really good.
This will all basically be at the Leaning Palms or Typhoon Tilly's. We have a pork kebab. It's jicama slaw, preservatives, pineapple, watermelon topped with microgreens.
What did you just call it? Jicama?
Jicama?
That's jicama.
Well, jicama. I like mine better.
Jicama is kind of almost like a carrot-like root vegetable.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the pork kebab part of it sounds good. We've got the chicken kebab, Mojo chicken, that slaw again, kumquat preserves, pineapple, watermelon top with microgreens. These microgreens are a big thing, I guess.
Okay. So, I have a question for some of our listeners, because Karen brings up, how about when they brought on the truck and trailer thing? I'm trying to figure out what exactly. And then Randy mentions, I just remember that it was all white that looked like a kettle car. I guess if you guys could elaborate on that, I want to, this is why I love the interactive format of our show. I for some reason, I'm drawing a complete blank as to, one of those things.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I know. It's like I want to know what's going on. I remember the Leaning Tower of Cheese from the Goofy movie. Thank you, Kevin, for bringing it up. And Brandon, just to let you know, I did not down a gallon of tea just then and there. Just probably about a half a quart that was still left in my tea jug from today.
So we've got a Surf's Up chicken noodle salad. This will be available at Leaning Palms, Typhoon Tilly's, and the Snack Shack.
They're referring to the food trucks. Down in Cold Springs. Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was just. Yeah, it looked really. Oh wait, cast ride. Oh, that cast ride from tunnel to parking. Okay. Going back
So
to the bus.
chicken, noodle slaw, and lettuce topped with sesame seeds. We've got a fish out of water, which sounds so good. Baked cod, coconut rice, baby bok choy topped with lemon butter and microgreens. And then obviously lastly is the cheese platter. Smoked cheese, smoked Gouda, grapes and crackers. Here's a little spin-off we have here. We have a bathtub party sundae. Vanilla ice cream, confetti cake, whipped cream, and chocolate rubber ducks topped with sprinkles served in a novelty bathtub dish. It's actually adorable.
You can't do the rubber ducks unless you have like Bert and Ernie for some reason. And I know they're Muppets, but seriously, I mean, seriously, you don't catch my reference there, do you?
No. Sorry.
Ernie always used to sing Rubber Ducky.
Okay.
Rubber Ducky.
In the tub. Oh,
you make that time so much fun.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I get it. But it is cute. And it's kind of like a spin-off of, I guess, Mickey's Kitchen Sink. For those Woody fans, we've got Woody's Rootin' Tootin' Milkshake. Cotton candy milkshake served with novelty Woody boot, topped with whipped cream, edible glitter, and a gummy worm. I don't want any of that except the boot. So if anybody wants to drink it and then send me the boot, I will pay.
I don't like gummy stuff.
I don't like sweet stuff.
I know you don't like sweet stuff. I just don't, and I don't want the gummy stuff.
And I don't want the glitter. Edible glitter. I don't know. We have a pineapple soft serve with blue raspberry, and this is supposed to be
pineapple soft serve, aka Dole Whip,
and it's served with blue raspberry. It's supposed to be Buzz's colors. Pineapple served with a blue raspberry slushy. Beverages: the glowing unicorn, non-alcoholic. It's violet colada with a glow cube, rainbowed whipped cream, edible shimmer glitter, and a twist candy lollipop. We also have the tropical flash lemonade, which is tropical smoothie mixed with lemonade and a glow cube. We've got the glow fusion punch, which is alcoholic. This has vodka and fruit-based liqueur with grenadine and pineapple juice topped with rainbow popping pearls. And that one looks like it. That one actually looks like it glows in the dark. Obviously, I know it's the bulb. I mean the ice cube. We've got the green something. It's tequila, Granny Smith apple syrup, and a sour mix topped with blueberry popping pearls. And then we've got the strawberry glow lemonade, which is strawberry smoothie mixed with lemonade and a glow cube. We've got the Buzz Blaster non-alcoholic. It's Sprite and green apple popping pearl served with a Buzz Lightyear glow clip. We've got the Galactic Lemonade, which is blueberry vodka, Odala lemonade, pomegranate juice topped with Sprite and glow cube. And we also have a Party Time tea, Tennessee whiskey, sweet tea, and lemonade with a glow cube. Rounding out some more, they have a lot of drinks, people. The Dream Disco Float, which is hard orange soda, vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, and edible glitter. We've got the Adult Root Beer Disco Float, which is hard root beer, vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, and edible glitter. We've got the Day Glow IPA Draft and the Brut de Peach Champagne served in an LED champagne. Novelty items.
With a glow cube. Come on, if you're going to do that champagne with all that,
There's no glow cube with that one.
Oh, you see, you got to do a glow cube or something like that with all that champagne. Seriously.
Some of the novelty items, we have a light up popcorn bucket, main change popcorn cart. We've got the H2O Glow Nights light up souvenir cup, various locations. Alien light up souvenir cup. We've got a light up champagne glass, obviously the glow cubes, the Buzz Lightyear glow clip, Woody boot, and bathtub party Sunday bathtub. Exclusive event merchandise, they have a t-shirt and another t-shirt.
Yeah, well, all the t-shirts got to be oversized after eating all that sugar.
And a tumbler. The tumbler looks cute. It's got Rex with a whole bunch of stuff.
Is it wrong for me to say that it would be nice to have some kind of a fun specialty / novelty drink that at least was not just loaded with 300 grams of sugar in one serving? I mean, is it wrong for me to actually request something like that? I would love to have some sort of specialty drink that was made from either, like, say, Diet Sprite, Diet Coke, Diet Lemonade, and Diet Lemonade, and as I put it, Tennessee whiskey. They're obviously not saying Jack, but Tennessee whiskey, and put a glow cube in it. That's all I want.
I'm sure they would.
It's just I have to agree with Melissa. It's like my teeth are hurting.
But I mean, I think if you walked up to them, I'm sure you can get a vodka tonic with a glow cube in it. You can get whatever you want. I mean, they have the liquor there.
Yeah, but at least, but then it's like, you're not getting something fun off the menu. That's half the fun, is like, oh, you look at the menu, like, I want to try that.
So you're like, hey, I'd like the Woody boot, but I need you to leave everything out of it and just pour vodka in it. So you technically
you're a vodka person, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just scotch. I'm sorry.
There you go. Then fill the boot with scotch.
Yeah, unfortunately, here's the problem. You saw what happened to me after I had one serving of a 12-year McKenna.
I'm actually shocked that they've never done something diabetic-wise, sugar-free wise, at all these events.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that also, like, Melissa brings a great point. A lot of people are actually allergic to dyes. I used to be allergic to red and blue as a kid. So that was one of the biggest things. Yeah, I understand. That's the other thing. Don't order drinks not on the menu. Bartenders hate that, especially if it's something like that. I totally get it.
I don't know if I agree with that.
If it's not okay for something like that, I can understand. If you're going to a bar where anything goes, then yeah, anything should go.
Yeah, but I mean, at one of those events, like, yeah, I mean, if you walked up and asked for a Manhattan, where it's something time consuming, I can agree with that. But for someone who just walks up and asks for like a mixer and a liquor, Jack and Coke, a vodka tonic, whatever the case is, a spritzer, I don't really see them getting that upset about that. Well, at the end of the day, they're making a sale and they're getting a tip.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say I don't know how they're going to have it. Like, is it something that's already like pre-made, or is it something else that's like made to order? I don't know. I mean, it's what
liquor would separate. So,
liquor
and they're not going to pour liquor if they can't sell it. Like, what happens if they made 100 of those drinks and they only sold 50 of them? You wouldn't have all that liquor poured. That's money.
Okay, I gotcha. But anyway, I mean, it's kind of interesting that they have that. But I agree. It's just, I'm not a big drinker, but seriously, the only time I actually go and have an adult beverage literally is at Disney. And even now and then, I used to love going and hitting a Grand Marnier slush, or even the Grey Goose lemonade thingy. That was also really good. What is it? Is a Flavia lemonade with lime too much to ask for? That's not a bad idea, But yeah, it is just one of those things. Let's go. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess the person who owned Filthy Rich at Disney Springs did not get Filthy Rich. They were the low price jewelry kiosk over at Disney Springs. It was open for a hot 3 years. It is now closing its doors. See the pun there?
I don't even I don't even know where this is that you're talking.
It's over by the fountain.
Well, see, they moved some of those kiosks around.
All right, between T-Rex and would it be paddlefish? Maybe.
Okay,
Not the same.
great example though. In that same little, I know exactly where you're talking about because they used to have the Dunkin' Yo-Yo kiosk there.
Yeah, and they moved that.
They moved the Dunkin' Yo-Yo kiosk. I happen to know the guy that runs the Dunkin' Yo-Yo.
Okay.
Yes, because he actually. Funny part is he actually knew my son-in-law to be.
Oh, okay.
So like when Casey came out last summer with us, you know, he used to do a lot of yo-yoing, and it was a friend of him from Indianapolis, a friend of his from Indianapolis. So every time I go through Disney Springs, I always try to say hi. And so yeah, it's really cool.
That's
Anyway.
nice. You were gonna say something before I rudely interrupted.
I was okay. So I wanted to just comment on a couple interesting things, and I really would like the audience's input to this. Okay, because I want to be set straight if I'm going down the wrong path of a thought process. Okay, so here's what I'm going. Do you think, and Danny, I'm also asking you this question too. Do you think that we're living in a day and age where trip planning books, actual paperback books,
Okay.
are a thing of the past to the point where, you know, if you knew that someone was going on a Disney trip, you had an old planning book that you would hand it to them, that they would get an idea of at least some Disney planning before they start asking questions. And the reason why I asked that is because I'm thinking it's actually getting harder to I think it's actually getting harder to plan trips as someone who has never ever been to Disney before and never ever knowing what to expect. And I think right now it's a tough crowd, so to speak, along the lines of people are asking the wrong questions out on the internet. And I sometimes think that it's making people more and more frustrated because they don't know what to ask. And at least with the books, and you start up reading it, you at least had the ability to write down some questions before you started asking questions, if you catch my drift. But are those books now totally the thing of the past? I mean, are we totally bypassing a good reading planning experience and just going straight to the internet to getting trip planning advice when you don't even know how to ask the right question?
I think for the average goer, yes, they're not going to put the investment into the book when you have the wonderful thing called free internet. But yeah, I mean, is it a bad thing? I mean, we're moving away from the book, but at the same time, we've seen the internet grow. Now, with that comes pros and cons, but we've also had a major growth in podcasting and blogging and getting, the book is going to be very black and white and listed down for you, where a podcast, a blog, the internet, you can they're a little bit more watered down. They're a little bit more personal answers. And the reason I think that's a good thing is because you don't realize, like you were saying, about all these questions you might have had. But the thing is like, say you're doing your research, you might come across a question and then it might have related questions, a question that's a really substantial one that you might not have even thought of yourself and didn't even realize was a thing that would happen while you're, on vacation, where the internet could really guide you in the way where, you can reach out to people on the internet. You could talk to podcasters, bloggers, post your own questions anywhere. When you have the book, you are stuck to what that book says.
Let me give something of a obscure reference question. And this is not, I didn't just see this just once. I've seen this question over and over again. And I realize you're not going to find this in a book, but the thing is that if you do some research, people will understand. It's like, I can't believe people are actually asking this question. Someone said, next week I'm going to Disney. It looks like it's going to rain every day. Should I cancel my trip?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Are you really going to cancel your trip because of rain? And you would, if you would have a better idea or asking a better question, it would almost be like, the better question is, hey, I think it's going to rain a lot during my trip. What are some things I should take into consideration? Instead of canceling. I mean, do people really cancel their trips because they find out it's going to rain? I mean, I could understand if you're a local, you don't want to go out into the rain because you have you have an AP, you can go off and over again. But are you really going to change everything just because it's raining? I know it sounds like a stupid thing. I'm not trying to, speaking of rain, I don't know if that's being picked up a microphone, but it's starting to downpour like nobody's business. Woohoo, yeah, more rain. Welcome to Chicago area. Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, it's kind of funny. Brian's like, I told them yes. You're so mean, dude. I'm not even saying when's a slow time of year to go, because I think that is still a really good question. The answer is there is no slow time of year to go anymore, but I still think it's a really good question. And I get it and I agree with Randy here. The Disney planning books are obsolete. The parks change quickly. The info in the book can be old by the printing. They should have a web page to keep up instead of current news. The problem of it is people don't even go to web pages anymore. They sit on Facebook groups. Here's the thing, though. I just sometimes wonder if you need a general piece of information book. Nothing specific about an attraction or something like that, but it's like how to do Disney.
That's a very subjective statement, though. It's
subjective, but it's also, it's non-specific enough where it makes sense, but it can be adapted to any situation over a longer period of time. Because there are some excellently really good books. Passporter used to be really good until they stopped producing that after so many years. They did such a great job for a long period of time. I know Bram Brahms does their books and stuff like that. But these are just some things. And I kind of asked that question. Again. I wasn't trying to make fun of anybody's question. That was not my intent. I'm just trying to think about what's a good way to try to guide people to get their questions answered. And sometimes I just wonder if people just had a small primer on how to actually plan a trip first, to actually be able to sit back and ask the questions and help formulate good questions. Because I think that'll take a lot of frustration away for new people. Me and you, we don't have a problem. We have an idea of what questions to ask. Most people that listen to our show, they know what questions to ask. There are people that just join us that have great questions.
If you're skeptical on the internet and you don't want to spend the money, then I highly recommend doing yourself a service. And if you want to do the research, finding a good Disney travel agent.
I mean, yeah, people still use travel agents.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hey, we don't have a travel agent as a sponsor. We're trying to keep it that way. And I say it only because of some agreements that we have with other groups. But the fact of the matter is we know some great travel agents. And, the fact of the matter is a good travel agent will help answer a lot of the questions. We'll sit back and actually talk with you about those things. It's one of those cases where, I'll say even some fun stuff, like example, Alex mentions the Hidden Mickey book was excellent. And I love the Hidden Mickey books. They're really good.
Used it.
It's a lot of fun. And the thing is that Steve Barrett keeps changing it. I shouldn't say changing it. Keeps updating it because, you find a lot of little itty bitty things.
Like people are talking about these books are often updated. Yeah, but if I'm spending $35 on a book that is for the year of 2019 and you put out 3 revisions to that book,
usually it's an annual thing.
Okay.
And usually, yeah, it's not like, oh, here you are, we're releasing it in January, come March. Holy crap, here's our second publishing with all these revisions. Oh, hey, it's August, time for a new one. No, it's not like that, which is really good. Most of them used to be updated often. And the problem of it is though, is that we always used passporter books when we were doing it. In fact, the funny part about it is that we would actually get them from the library. And granted, we knew that the ones from the library tended to be a little bit older, a little bit out of date. We knew that there were some things that were changed, but obviously there are some things that will still remain the same. The interesting part about it is that, let's see, I'm going to flip. There are some really good ones here.
Here's the true statement right there.
What's that? People don't want to read. They want to watch or listen. Takes less time. Yeah. I mean, granted, that's why people ask us questions and we'll give them an answer in 30 seconds or less. So, but yeah, I mean, it's, there are some people that would love to just watch a video. Now the thing is, it's like, that's why every once in a while we do question and answer stuff for trip planning. We don't do it all the time because it's not the only thing we talk about. But yeah, I mean, it is one of those things, but I think that brings up a very good point. It's like, I think a lot of times, I think actually Brian brings up a great point. It can't always give you specifics, but it does tell you what to expect to guide your research. And I think guiding the research everybody's like, I don't know where to start. Hey, to guide research, I think really makes a big difference. So I just think that's one of those things that I always wanted to kind of bring up. And because it's so many, what's the best way of putting it? We can be such a big help to that, especially as a community. I just think we can do it a whole lot better.
I love the internet.
I love it. That's my Disney guidebook from 1989, still relevant. Sure, it is for 2 parks.
Not really. I mean, barely.
Barely, I know.
Barely.
Those are some of the greatest looks. You go through, flipping through them. You're like, oh my gosh! Remember when we only had 2 parks? Remember when we only had 1 park? I'll still never forget when I was a little kid. My very first trip with my parents, sitting at the TTC, only had 1 monorail. Had the pillars for the second monorail being put in. That was also fun.
It's also really funny just listening to other famous people, and I don't consider us famous, but these people I'm talking about are very famous. I'll give you the 2 names. Very easy to look them up. Pat McAfee, ex-Indianapolis Colts kicker, who has a dynamic podcast, definitely adult friendly. Met him once. They do about 20 million downloads in a week. It's an absurd amount. And the other one is Roberts, who works on the WFAN 660. And you might say to yourself, well, why is he bringing these 2 people up? Well,
hey, Danny, why are you bringing those things up?
These are the 2 people I listen to every day. But they both recently got back from Disney. Both recently said they had good trips. They had no idea what they were talking about. I listened to Evan Roberts today literally tell me that he paid for fast passes. And I mean, this is the biggest sports show in the East Coast. Everybody knows, if you watch sports, you know it is who WFAN is. And this man is talking to millions of people. He's like, yeah, they did this cool thing with Fast Pass. You don't have to wait in line. He's like, yeah, but I think I paid extra for it. He goes, I'm almost positive I paid extra for it. And I'm yelling at my radio like, no, you didn't. Call me. And these are the funny things I love to hear people say, because I'm like, oh, you were very misguided. Very misguided.
I just, I want us to basically help people out. I want people to actually ask the questions that need to be asked. And if you don't know where to start, hey, we've had people come on the show. for some individualized trip planning. And we ask a ton of questions to try to help start the thought process. So,
I mean, the hardest part is it's tough trying to plan your fast pass is 180 days out. Or no, your ADR is 180 days out. It is tough because do you really know what you and your like? You don't know the weather. Do you want heavy food? There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot moves. And the same thing with fast passes. There's, it is tough to nail down, unless you are a make a plan, stick to the plan type of family, type of individual. It is very tough.
Yeah.
To really make people that far out.
It is actually really, it's actually tougher to do some of the planning now. I mean, I'm used to it by now, but like, I know for a lot of things, I'm not going to get certain passes. I know that, but I'm not going to let it ruin my vacation.
No, but we go enough where we can say that it's fine. We'll do it. If we miss something we couldn't do, we'll do it next time.
No,
people might not go for years on end.
Here's the thing. Even before that, I tried to I guess I could say I tried to make sure that I set expectations with my family in such a way where if we weren't able to do something.
You hear that?
What?
It's pouring.
Oh gosh.
It is a monsoon right now.
I hear it over here. So
okay, yeah.
I'm getting rain and steam. all of a sudden, everybody who's like listening to our show right now in the car in the middle of rush hour traffic, all of them have to go to the bathroom. So for some reason, we're sorry. No, I just kind of think that I always try to set expectations with my kids, and therefore we don't overpromise them. And I think that always helped. So
yeah.
Let's see. Let's ask a couple questions. Kevin's asked here, Chris and Danny, when do you plan on going to the best Disney park, Disney Sea? I don't plan on going overseas. Sorry, dude. Ain't gonna happen. If you want to pay me, write me a check for $15,000. I'll go there next week.
I know somebody who was just there the last couple days and it just stopped raining. Crazy. I know someone who was there literally 3 days ago, and they said the options for food in that park make Epcot look like a redheaded stepchild. They said that is the most immersive and well done park they have ever stepped foot into.
I'm afraid that if I go to Disney Sea or
I'm afraid to be too nice and everything else will just be
just for Tokyo Disneyland. I'm just afraid I'll be like, I want what are those 14 of them. And of course, an hour later, I'm still hungry. But it's just one of those cases. Yeah, it's monsoon rain here in Chicago. Yeah, Michelle, I'm not too far from you. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's one of those cases where I would love to go there. My wife and I have talked about it. Of course, the conversation kind of goes, "Hey, honey, I'd really like to go to all the Disney parks after we retire." And what she said was, "Have a nice time."
She won't go.
She doesn't want to go over. She doesn't want to go out of the country.
With her.
I mean, keep in mind, every time we've done a Disney cruise, she's never gotten off the ship except to get off at Castaway Cay.
Oh, really?
She just doesn't want to do it. Now, my daughter and I will go explore Nassau and stuff like that, but my daughter and I are the explorers.
It's a hilarious comment. I don't know why it's so funny to me.
It does seem like it's been raining for 84 years. So I mean, it's one of those cases. Let's see. Laura asked, have we ever gone to Disneyland? Yeah, I was there a couple of years ago. Enjoyed it.
A long time for me.
Can't wait till the next time I go. So it's just one of those things. Can't wait. But we'll have to.
It's just so long.
Yeah, I mean, Epcot's getting a lot of changes, kind of like Brian's saying here. Chris basically says they need to bring Disney Sea to Walt Disney World.
That'd be awesome. That is something where I could see. I know we've done the rumblings, during the marathon show. I could see that being the fifth gate.
Well, Stan basically mentions, Chris, you and I can go together. My wife has no desire to go either. Awesome. Let's figure out a place where we can fly internationally from. Oh, well, actually, anywhere you're going is going to fly internationally, and we'll head out there. It sounds like a plan to me. Hey, as soon as my son gets his scholarship for college, I'm just going to spend that. We'll just do that. It's as simple as that.
College fund is going to a new.
Here's the thing. I understand that my wife doesn't want to go out of the country. I totally get it. I am a little more adventurous. Granted, big fat guy like me in the middle of Japan. I could be treated like royalty. Everyone's going to probably think that I'm some sort of American sumo wrestler or something like that. I don't know. It's one of those things. Michelle asks, is Disney's California Adventure still trash? Not at all. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I know there's always been people talking about it, but I think ever since they put in Cars Land, they've redone a whole bunch of things. I really thoroughly enjoyed my time at California Adventure. It is one of those things. Oh, Randy says he's going to Hong Kong Disneyland and Shanghai next year. Dude, that really, let us know when you're going. Love to hear about your trip when you come back. Let's see. Mary's like Alaska cruise from Vancouver. That actually sounds like a lot of fun. But yeah, it's still one of those things. Brunette's basically saying, hey, I'm going to Walt Disney World tomorrow. Can't wait to melt in the ground from the heat. Just like Brian basically says, hey, could you please send the cold rain here, please? I'll take you to Asia if you can just make it 90 again. Oh my gosh.
A whole bunch of just buckets of just cold water. I'll be taking that back to Asia. Thank you.
Seriously, it's one of those cases where it's like the weekend was absolutely beautiful, and today's just turned out to be absolute poop. So it's one of those cases. I'm glad that it's not Florida weather and this much rain, because it would be 300% humidity. It would just be impossible to deal with. Yeah. So, we're getting towards the top of the hour here. In fact, we are at the top of our hour. Some hodgepodge conversations like this is actually really cool. And I'm going to go ahead and back one last thing before we go. One of these days, Danny, I really want to go and do the idea of, I saw it on the interwebs, and not to rip on anything that we see, but to address some questions that are out there that are being addressed oddly or incorrectly in order to help our listening audience. I think that we can do that. And I want our listening audience to also know we are here to help you. We may not know absolutely everything, but I know something? We know people that can help us when we don't know. And of course, through some good, solid community conversation, especially over at the WDW community page, we love to help people plan their trips. We're not necessarily 100% trip planning. We don't always do trip reports. We, as you know, we talk about anything and everything under the Disney umbrella. And I think we're going to probably keep it that way, because you know what? Oh, yeah. We just love doing what we're doing. So, Danny, you got any last thoughts, ideas, questions, comments, snide remarks before we move on?
Danny's falling asleep. That is right. So take us away.
All right. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
Oh, with that being said, thank you for tuning into another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. on Facebook and YouTube. And you can also catch all of our shows on anywhere that catches a podcast. Trisha would kill me if I didn't mention. Please head on over to the WDW Community Facebook page and come join us. It's a lot of fun. With that being said, I hope you all have a safe and wonderful week. Try to stay dry, try to stay warm, try to stay cool. Whatever it is going on by you, just know there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. I am Uncle Danny. Until next time.
Hey, I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. Really glad that you're here. Really enjoyed having conversation with everybody. And by all means, we can't wait to talk to you on Thursday. So until we meet again, we hope you have an absolutely magical day. Take care.